Welcome back to the Pagan Hearth community. When most people see the Wheel of Taranis, they see an ancient Celtic symbol. Perhaps they've heard it described as a solar wheel or a sun wheel, or simply the emblem of a thunder god. But I think that understanding barely scratches the surface. To our ancestors, the wheel wasn't just an ornament. It was a way of understanding reality itself. The wheel is time. It's the turning of the heavens. The wheel is the pattern by which the gods reveal the order of the world. Today we're going to explore one of the oldest and most profound ideas in pagan philosophy. That we don't live in a universe moving along in a straight line towards some distant end, but within a living cosmos that turns in great cycles. Every sunrise, every season, every generation, every lifetime participates in that great turning. Understanding the great wheel changes how we understand the gods, nature, ourselves, and our place within creation. Before there were clocks and calendars, there was the sky. Every human society learned to look upward. They watched the sun rise and set. They watched the moon wax and wane. They learned the pattern of the stars. And they noticed that certain constellations returned at the same time each year. They learned when rivers flooded, when birds migrated, when salmon returned, when leaves changed, when the first frost arrived. This wasn't superstition. It was careful observation. The heavens became humanity's first calendar, and nature was humanity's first teacher. Time wasn't something people invented. It was discovered. The universe itself was already keeping perfect time. Why did so many ancient cultures choose the image of the wheel? Because nothing illustrates the cycle of motion better. A line has a beginning and an end. A wheel has neither. It continuously returns. It never truly repeats itself. Every spring resembles the last, but no two springs are identical. Every harvest echoes those before it, but each has its own challenges. Life itself moves this way. Children become adults. Adults become elders. Elders become ancestors. The ancestors continue to shape the living. Death gives way to new life. Ash nourishes the soil nourishes the seed becomes the forest. Everything turns. This is renewal, the literal turning of the heavens. Today we describe the heavens differently than our ancestors did. We know that the earth rotates on its axis. We know that the earth orbits the sun. We understand galaxies and gravity and planetary motion. But none of that changes what we experience when we step outside at night. Look upward. The stars still move. The Milky Way slowly sweeps overhead. The moon follows its path across the sky. The planets wander among the constellations. Night after night, the heavens appear to revolve around a single unmoving point, the North Star. Stand beneath a truly dark sky, free from city lights, and you begin to understand why the ancients saw the heavens as a great cosmic wheel. Whether we describe the earth as turning beneath the stars, or the stars turning above the earth, the experience remains the same. The heavens are always in motion, and the wheel is always turning. Across the Indo-European world, archaeologists have uncovered countless bronze wheels, many only a few inches across. Some have 4 spokes, like mine. Others have 6 or 8. Many were discovered in sanctuaries. Others appeared beside images of Taranis himself, or atop the great Jupiter columns of Roman Gaul. Scholars debate their precise meaning, but one thing is difficult to ignore. Again and again, the wheel appears alongside the thunderer. Why? Thunder isn't just noise in the sky. Storms bring rain. Rain feeds rivers. Rivers nourish crops that sustain communities. Storms arrive with the seasons, and the heavens govern the weather. Weather governs life. The God associated with the storm naturally becomes associated with order that governs the storm. The wheel reminds us that Taranis is not merely a god who throws lightning. He participates in maintaining the rhythm by which the world continues to flourish. Modern society often treats time as a commodity. We spend time, save time, waste time, and manage time. Our calendars divide life into numbered boxes: January, February, March, 1, 2, 3. Easy, convenient, and efficient. Our ancestors recognized a different kind of calendar. Winter didn't begin because someone declared it. It began because winter arrived. The return of migrating birds mattered more than a date. The blooming of hawthorn mattered more than a page on the wall. The ripening grain announced Lughnasadh more clearly than any printed calendar ever could. The wheel tells us when it's time to plant, time to harvest, to feast, time to remember and to rest. The gods reveal sacred time through creation itself. This understanding gives deeper meaning to the great festivals of the year. Yule reminds us that even the longest night eventually yields to returning light. Imbolc announces the first stirring of new life beneath frozen ground. The star brings balance before explosive growth. And Beltane celebrates fertility, vitality, and the fullness of life. Letha marks abundance, while quietly reminding us that every ascent is followed by descent. Lughnasadh begins the harvest, and Mabon gives thanks for what has been granted. Samhain honors the ancestors of the land and prepares for winter's rest. These holidays aren't arbitrary. They're milestones of the turning of the year. The earth itself proclaims each and every one of them. The greatest wisdom of the wheel isn't astronomical. It's personal. Modern culture often fears endings. We fear aging and change and loss. The wheel teaches another lesson. Endings aren't failures. They're transformations. Every grief eventually becomes a memory. Every lesson becomes wisdom. Every child carries the legacy of countless generations before them. Even death doesn't erase that relationship. Our ancestors remain a living part of our community. The wheel doesn't promise that suffering disappears, but it does promise that nothing stands still forever. Joy and spring returns, hope returns, and life will continue to turn with the wheel. One of the themes we return to often at the Pagan Hearth is what I call the Great Remembering. Across many traditions, we find stories of decline followed by renewal. Knowledge is forgotten and then rediscovered. Sacred places fall silent, then songs are sung again. Old relationships are neglected and renewed. The wheel reminds us that history itself has seasons. There are ages of forgetting, and there are ages of remembering. Perhaps our own time is one of those great turning points, because the wheel has carried us into another season. The gods didn't disappear. The old ways were never fully erased. Like seeds beneath winter snow, they waited. And now many feel called to remember what was always there and to embrace our pagan worldview once again. But what does all this mean for us? It means slowing down enough to notice. Watch where the sun rises. Notice the phases of the moon. Learn the constellations. Observe the first thunderstorm of spring and pay attention to the blooming trees. Listen for returning birds. Notice when the air begins to change. The wheel is still turning. It always has been. Our modern life often disconnects us from these rhythms, but they continue whether we notice them or not. Because of that connection, every observation becomes an act of reverence. Every season becomes an invitation to participate once again in the ancient relationship between humanity, nature, and the gods. Tomorrow morning, the sun will rise. Tomorrow night, the stars will turn overhead. The moon will continue its ancient journey. The seasons will continue their patient dance. Long before clocks, before empires, before churches, the heavens were already keeping time. They still are. The Wheel of Taranis has never stopped turning. Our task isn't to make the wheel turn. Ours is to remember how to live with it. If we learn to watch the heavens again, to honor the seasons, and to walk the rhythm with the turning world, we may discover that the gods have been speaking to us all along, not only through myth and memory, but through every sunrise, every storm, and every harvest, and every star that silently turns above our heads. We are the Pagan Hearth. May your hearth remain warm, your offerings received with favor, and may you always find yourself walking in harmony with the great wheel. Keep the hearth fires burning. Good night.